Yes, dear children, let us quickly go through, revise haloalkanes and haloarenes. Okay. Now let us see first of all the classification of haloalkanes and haloarenes, how they are classified. Now it depends upon the nature of carbon holding the halogen. This classification is based. Okay. Now alkyl halide, carbon holding the halogen, it is sp3 hybridized. Remember, in alkyl halide it is sp3 hybridized. And this is primary in nature because it is attached to only one other carbon, and this carbon holding the halogen is attached to 4 single covalent bonds. Same way here, carbon holding halogen is attached to 2 other carbon and it is secondary. Carbon holding Cl is attached to 3 other carbon, so this is tertiary. Right? So this is alkyl halide, primary, secondary and tertiary. Then you have vinylic halide, where the carbon holding the halogen is sp2 hybridized. Double bonded carbon is sp2. How do you understand this is sp2? This carbon is surrounded by hydrogen on one side, Cl on the other side, and this carbon on the other side. So only 3 atoms are there, so the state of hybridization is sp2. Double bonded carbon will show sp2 hybridization. So this is primary vinylic and this is secondary vinylic because carbon holding the halogen is attached to 2 other carbon. Then you have allylic halide, where you have carbon holding the halogen is sp3 hybridized, but this sp3 carbon is attached to an sp2 carbon. Only then this carbon is called as allyl carbon. Allyl carbon is that carbon which is sp3 hybridized and attached to an sp2 hybridized carbon. Right? So here also you have primary allylic, secondary allylic, tertiary allylic. Now you have benzylic halide, where carbon holding the halogen is again sp3 hybridized, but it is attached to a double bonded carbon of the benzene ring. This is the difference between allyl and benzyl. Try to understand. This is also sp2, this is also sp2, right? But this carbon, which is sp2 carbon, is not a part of the benzene ring, but this is a part of the benzene ring. So you have again here under benzylic, primary, secondary and tertiary. And then the last one you have arylic halide, where the carbon of the benzene ring itself is holding the halogen. So this is called as arylic halide. Okay. And there is no primary or tertiary in this case. There is only one kind, that is secondary, because the carbon holding halogen is attached to this carbon and this carbon. Right. So this is basically secondary. So that is arylic. So this is about classification. So you may be given different compounds and ask you to identify whether it is allylic, primary or benzylic, primary benzylic or secondary benzylic or arylic. That's how you have to find out. Now let's go quickly for the preparation of alkyl halides. How do you prepare alkyl halide? So all these things is that already been taught and you must be having it in your notebook also. Quickly go through it. Okay. How can you prepare alkyl halide? From alcohol itself, there are so many methods by which you can prepare alkyl halide. Right? How? You can prepare it by adding dilute HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride. This is called as Lucas test. Then NaBr and H2SO4, where RBr can be formed, Ki and phosphoric acid, where you have Ri formed. Now here again you can ask why this H3PO4 is used. If you are using H2SO4 here, similar kind H2SO4, why can't it be used? Because if you use sulfuric acid here, remember this I minus of Ki will be oxidized to iodine, and that iodine will become soluble in alcohol. Is that clear? So further reaction will not be able to take place. Then I have given you separately also. Just let us go through that. Then by treatment with PCl3, PCl5 or SOCl2. SOCl2, how I have forgotten here. You can also use SOCl2 to get Rx and SOCl2 is the most preferable method because the byproducts that are formed, they are in the form of gases. It will leave Rx in the pure state. Then it can also be prepared from alcohol by using red phosphorus in the presence of halogen. You can get again here. I have shown SOCl2 separately here because this is the most preferred method. Okay. Right. So from these ways, from alcohol itself, you can prepare Rx. Then you can also prepare it from alkanes. This you have studied in 11th class. Free radical halogenation of alkanes can give you the corresponding haloalkane. Then from silver salt of acid also you can prepare. This is called as Borodin-Huntsdiker reaction by treatment with bromine in the presence of CCl4. Then from alkenes also you can prepare Rx by treatment with HX, that is HCl or HBr. Now this is called as Markovnikov's addition if the alkene is an unsymmetrical one. Same way with an unsymmetrical alkene, if you are using HBr in the presence of organic peroxide, the reaction will follow anti-Markovnikov's addition. Okay, so here if you add HX, now X will be attached to that carbon having less hydrogen, whereas in the case of peroxide, here you will find it will get attached to the carbon having more hydrogen, just the opposite. Okay, this is Markovnikov's addition, this is anti-Markovnikov's addition. And then you can also prepare fluoroalkane from haloalkane, that is chloro or bromoalkane, say fluoroalkane you can prepare. Then again you can prepare iodoalkane from again RCl or RBr by treatment with sodium iodide and in the presence of dry acetone. So this is about the preparation of haloalkanes, right? And individually I have explained everything, and the notes also has been given to you already. Okay, please dear children, go through it. Now in the case of the first one, that is what you call it as Lucas test, tertiary alcohols are more reactive than secondary than primary. And the zinc chloride, anhydrous zinc chloride, is the dehydrating agent, or you may also say it is a catalyst. Now why tertiary alcohols are more reactive? That is because OH can easily get released from this R group, which will make RCl formation or RBr formation easily taking place, right? Okay, now then you have NaBr and H2SO4. It will give you HBr, and that HBr will react with alcohol, will give you RBr. Then with Ki, Ri is formed in the presence of phosphoric acid, 95% phosphoric acid. Now why is sulfuric acid not used in this case? That is because Ki plus H2SO4, if at all you are using H2SO4, it will form Hi, and that Hi is oxidized in the presence of sulfuric acid to iodine, and this iodine will become soluble in alcohol. It will not form Ri. Okay, Hi formed is oxidized to iodine by H2SO4, which is an oxidizing agent. Okay, I2 being non-polar, it dissolves in alcohol. Ri is not at all formed. Okay, so to prevent this, what you are supposed to do, you have to use a non-oxidizing acid. H2SO4 is an oxidizing acid, whereas H3PO4 is a non-oxidizing acid. That is why it is used. Then you can also prepare it from PCl3 and PCl5, where you will get the corresponding chloride. So here this PBr3 and PI3, if you want to use, they are not stable. Hence, you can use red phosphorus in the presence of bromine or iodine. Okay, this is not a shelf reagent. PBr3 and PI3, they cannot be prepared and kept in shelves. So you can't use it. You have to use it only under in situ condition. In situ means then and there it is formed and it is used in the reaction. Okay, so that is how it is done. And then you have with SOCl2 here I have given. See, you're getting the byproducts SO2 and HCl. They are in the form of gases which will easily escape the medium, leaving behind this alkyl halide in the pure state. Okay, this is called as thionyl chloride, SOCl2. It's a very, very important reaction. Okay, then if you want to prepare RI, you can use NaI and dry acetone, where Cl is replaced by I, and this is called Finkelstein reaction. Okay, now NaCl or NaBr that is formed, it is less soluble in acetone. Okay, that is why the reaction will not become reversible. Then RF can be prepared by using certain fluorinating agents such as AgF or COF2 or Hg2F2, anything you may use, okay, for fluorination, and this is called as Schwartz reaction, right? Then you can also prepare it from alkenes. That is what is Markovnikov's rule and anti-Markovnikov's rule I have given. Markovnikov's rule mein kya hoga? When you add HCl to an unsymmetrical alkene, the halogen will add on to that carbon having less hydrogen. See, addition will take place only across the double bond, and this Cl will go to that carbon having less hydrogen. So this will be your major product. But in the case of peroxide effect, this Br minus will go to that carbon having more hydrogen. I told you it is just the reverse of Markovnikov's addition, or it is called as anti-Markovnikov's addition, or you can also call it as Karash effect or peroxide effect. All these things you have studied in 11th class. I request you to recollect your memory and do it. Then the other one specifically for RBr, which is called as Borodin-Hunziker reaction. This is only for RBr. Then from alkanes, by simple halogenation in the presence of sunlight, you can prepare. And supposing you are having more than one kind of carbon. What do I mean by more than one kind of carbon? See, this carbon is secondary, this carbon is primary, this carbon is also primary. This is what I mean by more than one kind. When you add halogen in the presence of sunlight, this halogen will preferably go to secondary carbon rather than primary. You see the percentage of formation. Okay, so ease of substitution of hydrogen of alkanes is tertiary greater than secondary greater than primary. Okay, whereas iodination is reversible, so it is taking place in the presence of either HiO3 or HNO3 to prevent the reverse reaction to take place, because if you add HiO3 or HNO3, the Hi that is formed, which is a strong reducing agent which makes it reversible, this Hi will be oxidized to iodine in the presence of HiO3 or HNO3. Okay, so iodination takes place in the presence of oxidizing agent, whereas the other halogenation processes, they don't require such things.